Yes wakuu, leo ni Thursday. Ningependa kuongelea siasa kidogo ya magharibi. Kabla niingie kwa hiyo ya magharibi, nitaanza na siasa ya Wabukusu. Siasa ya Mbukusu wa Bungoma na siasa ya Mbukusu wa Trans Nzoia. Mtu ananiuliza mbona mpiga kura wa Bungoma, Mbukusu wa Bungoma na Mbukusu wa Trans Nzoia walipiga kura tofauti, and yet ni watu wamoja. In fact, hizi familia ziko on both sides. Hawa wa Trans Nzoia wote walitoka Bungoma. Ni hivi, Mbukusu wa Bungoma kama mlio wote wa Western, kama Waluhya Kakamega ama Waluhya wa Busia, they are not fearful of losing their political seats because they are competing with no one. They are neither fearful of losing land because their settlements, it's just them. It's homogeneous. It's just them. So they do not have these two fears. Lakini Mbukusu ama Mluhya wa Western, he's fearful of both. He's fearful of losing his political seat in Trans Nzoia, and is fearful of also losing land because, as you know, previously from the 80s there have even been tribal clashes, there have been land clashes, and especially with the Kalenjins. But we thank God for the last 20 years nothing of sort has happened because of maturity in politics. So that is why the two vote on their own interest. Now, the Luhya in Western, because he doesn't have competition over his political seat apart from his own brother, and is not fearful of losing land, he votes for other interests that may just be beneficial for him on the short term. And that is why those in Bungoma thought in the short term they may get more from Ruto than Raila Odinga. You see, the Bukusu of Bungoma neighbor Sugoi and Uasin Gishu, and they do not neighbor Siaya. The ones in Busia and Kakamega thought they are neighbors to Raila Odinga, so they'll benefit more from the Raila presidency than Ruto, which is again true. But coming back to the Bukusu politics now, the Bukusu of Trans Nzoia is very technical, is very tactical, is very long term. And that is why previously they have elevated Masinde Muliro to somebody very high in the national political field of Kenya. They have also elevated somebody like Mike Wamalwa to be the vice president of this country. Because you see, they look at the long term. They don't look at the short term. They don't mind being in the opposition for 20 years. But what they look at is after that 20 years, where they'll be. For the one in Bungoma, because as I've said, like any other Luhya in Western, they are looking at short-term interests. Okay? So they don't look at the long term. So they never look at a politician who will be a president for Kenya in the future. If you look at Bungoma politics, they have rarely raised the presidential material for the future. Same to Kakamega and same to Busia. Vihiga has been trying, but it has had a lackluster politician, because Vihiga really tried on Musalia Mudavadi, but it didn't work out. But for Trans Nzoia, they look at somebody and try to elevate him for the long term. That is why they picked on Natembeya. It's not for the short term. Don't cheat yourself that they picked on Natembeya because they hated on Chris. They picked on Natembeya for the long term. They saw him as the regional commissioner, what he was doing, and they thought this is a hardcore guy. He can be the Mike Wamalo Masinde Muliro, and that's why they went for Natembeya. So do not even think twice that Natembeya will not be a two-term governor. He's going to be a two-term governor for the interest of the Bukusu of Trans Nzoia. And after that, believe me or not, they will push him upwards. I know this won't sound right for many of the political leaders in Western, but I choose just to state the truth so that you may be prepared for your future. You see, Western politics has been politics of confusion. That is the truth. You cannot have a region with 5 kingpins. Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula, Oparanya, Eugene Wamalwa, blah blah blah. 5 kingpins in one region is politics of confusion, and that is what the Trans Nzoia Bukusu has seen. He has seen that forget about now these ones here, they've wasted enough of our time. Let's now raise somebody who we can push through the ceiling, and there'll be order. As for Wetangula, it's unfortunate. He stayed in court in NASA, and he should be grateful to Raila. Raila gave him the impetus that he needed in national politics. But when he became speaker, he's forgotten all that. He's probably changed to be the worst speaker Kenya has had, and that has diminished his status in Luhyaland. The Bukusu of Bungoma may call him third in command, but to say the truth, for Wetangula, since he became speaker, his pronunciation, his rulings in parliament have diminished his status in places like Kakamega, Busia, and in Trans Nzoia, and in Vihiga. In fact, right now, Luhya somehow tend to be softer on Mudavadi, who has not really, has gone, is just playing his role in government without trying to brush other Luhya political leaders. You see, Mudavadi is not fighting Eugene Wamalwa, he's not fighting Natembeya, he's not fighting Baraza. He's just there, he's just playing his role in Kenya Kwanza, and which Luhyas find it very, very respectful. But as for Wetangula, there is this thing, is fighting Natembeya, and it's not going down well, especially with the Luhyas in Trans Nzoia. It will not go down well for him, especially with the Luhyas in Trans Nzoia. At 68, I think Wetangula has one bullet for the presidency, which is 2027. It is impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. At 62, Musalia Mudavadi has maybe 2 bullets at the presidency. 2027, mission impossible. 2032, there is a possibility. And the possibility is if Musalia Mudavadi gathers enough resources, and instead of fighting fellow Luhya leaders, uses those resources to bring them together. And that is a concept that has been used very well by William Ruto in Kalenjin land. You see, when William Ruto was going through the ceiling to be the Kalenjin leader, he was fighting several forces, the Biwots, the Henry Kosgeis, the Barngetunis, and every other Kalenjin who are in the Moi era, and were seen to be very powerful and more resourceful. But what William Ruto did, every resource he gained was to purchase loyalty and use those resources to move around Rift Valley to galvanize his support. He did it very well. If Musalia Mudavadi gets resources as a prime cabinet secretary and now moves around Western to purchase loyalty, in politics it's there. You can criticize it, but it is there. You can purchase people's loyalty. Moi used to do it. Ruto has done it. And galvanize the Luhyas behind you for 2032. And what the Clarion called Mudavadi can tell Luhyas is that it's impossible to remove Ruto in 2027, but this man is backing me for 2032. The Luhyas may trust him. They may trust him and say, if Ruto will back you in 2032, we know he's very aggressive, we can at least stand with him. But now he has to have the resources and bring together real leadership. Sitting in Nairobi like he's doing today is not good is not good for him. I'm told since Ruto came for the Western visit, Musalia Mudavadi has not been seen in Western Kenya since. That's very bad. Musalia Mudavadi should change on that. He should be every weekend. He should be himself in Western Kenya. He should stop moving around with the Tangula, because the Tangula is tangling a lot of Luhya leaders, and it's not going well for them. He should be alone. He should walk alone like Ruto did in Rift Valley, and show people who he is, who Mudavadi is as a person. Go to weddings, go to funerals as yourself, and preach the politics, not only of Luhya unity, but also go back to Nairobi and see the development that you can bring to Western, and that is the politics. You should tell them, I'm also there, and I'm going to bring in Trans Nzoia, the roads in Sapoti are bad. I'm talking to the president. I'm tarmacking this road. That is the politics Mudavadi should start doing. If those roads are built, people will start believing it's Mudavadi who pushed for that kind of development. I'll continue with this kind of talk tomorrow about Luhya politics. Expect more at this time and in the future. Thank you very much, people from Trans Nzoia and Western at large. Let us engage and see how we can galvanize our support for maybe 2027 or 2032. We should probably reduce this number of parties that we have in Western. This number of kingships that we have in Western should be reduced so that we can work together. Have a good